Hey guys, welcome back. So this is the final video in the module about remarketing, right? And this is kind of where we dive into a little bit more, just the higher level stuff that you can do with your audience data and how to really read that and segment that out, right? So within this particular lesson, I want to teach you about utilizing the data in order to increase your upsells and increase lifetime value. Right. So a lot of these particular ads that we're talking about, that we've been talking about, right, within your audiences that you have available to you, is you have audience lists that are talking about past converters, program searches, program views, and non-converters, right? These are all prime audience lists in order for you to either offer additional products to or upsell to, right? Depending on what your product is and what the attrition rate of your product is, these are always stuff that you want to re-engage with. Now, within the particular audience levels, right, these are people that you know, and we can segment for more out, right? Let's say we want to go down to this, and we'll do custom intent. Okay, we're going to do, say, UTVs, right? Say that. I like UTV racing. Do in market or Google search terms. Okay, UTV. Racing, UTVs, four-wheelers. Say with age comes cage. That's not because they throw them in the loony bin. It's just a protection thing. So basically what you're going to look at, right, this is going to pull in some customer intent data from all of your keywords and the keyword planner to formulate an audience that you can retarget, right? It'll formulate how big that audience is at the end of the day. But that's what these custom affinity audiences can really do for you, right? They can help you with basically layering stuff where they have a particular, they've been more in market for these. They have a higher likelihood of converting for these particular things. And that's basically what these, affinity and interest targets are going to be in the content aspect of it. Okay. These remarketing lists that we're talking about over in here under remarketing, these are going, if you want to do a custom combination under those, is what you're going to really be able to target on your own data, right? Those other lists are about utilizing the data that you have within the system and branching out outside of what the already pixeled user really is. Okay, so within these, I'll just do an example. So for increasing lifetime value of something, right? Actually, let's say for an upsell, correct? So one of my clients is a hair products company, right? The audience name, let's do products. Some of the last stuff we were working on was increasing shampoo, right? So we know that they're accustomed with the brand, and we know that they, have an affinity towards our product, and they like the iron at least. So what we would do is we would go down and we'd do hair products, shampoo. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at all past converters. Okay. And basically retarget converters. Shampoo. Create the audience. It's a really, really simple one, right? Like it's basically as far as just if they've ever converted on anything, then I'm going to show them a shampoo ad, right? But you really want to get more granular once you start selling more products and getting more data in here, right? Because that person, what if they bought a shampoo last time, right? We don't want to do that. So within that particular case, we wouldn't, unless we have a low attrition rate on that, we wouldn't want to do that. But so you have these other things, right, that are up that you can do as far as additional segmentation of the audiences. Okay. So you do each of these audiences and any of these audiences and or none of these audiences, right? So if I want to, I collapsed it. Reduce me so I can move around here a little bit. So if I want to target none of these audiences, right? So if I want to make sure that I'm never targeting shampoo with non-converters, then we can put it on there. Right. So if we want to do, okay, cool. I want to only target non-converters that saw the program searches. Okay. Or program viewers, we'll say, for us. So with me, for collateral growth, we're, basically offering education courses. So each of these audiences, what it's going to do is it's going to make sure that they were either a non-converter, but they did see the program page, right? So that way, whenever I go back and I write basically an ad to this particular audience, then it's going to be very, very specific, and I can continue that process as far as, upselling them and continue the conversation. And I can maybe do a different offer in order to upsell them. Or one of the other things would be, right, if they are a converter and they've seen the program views or they did the program search, right? So they create the audience, upsell Facebook course, right? We'll say that. That's what the audience is. Trying to do this, upsell FB course. So if I hit create audience, it's going to take it next in here. So then what I would do for that, I'm going to go in, I'm going to create my campaign. And for this one, because they're probably not continuing to look for courses out there, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a display campaign. So I kind of need to rope them in back, right? Because they're probably not out there, Googling courses, because we all know the collateral growth Google Ads Dive In and Accelerator program is just amazing. And why would anybody need to repeat it? But so that's why in this particular strategy, if I know I had a happy customer and I know that they've gone through the entire course, right? There's a couple different things that I can infer from that, right? They're happy with our course, right? So they like collateral growth. There's some trust there. There's some loyalty. The other thing that I can infer is that they're all about educating themselves and growing, either their business or their own career skill sets, one of the two. And they have some money now, right? We taught them some really, really valuable stuff that we're able to scale and create more value within their Google Ads. So they should have been able to grow up and basically increase their overall revenue. So, those three things are really, really positive things towards me positioning an additional product back in front of them. So what I would do is, again, I would go to display so I can catch them while they're basically going around the site, or even do a video ad. Let's actually do a video remarketing ad, right? So we'll do conversions. You search there. And again, I'm going to follow the same nomenclature, right? Lateral growth. YouTube, market, so Facebook. Okay. $1 day budget there. Delivery method, I'm always going to go on accelerated. So with this, again, we can do target CPA or maximize conversions. Do a target CPA. It's going to recommend that. Okay, cool. Do 15.28. That's well within our $25 range that we like to stay in, right? So I can't really do a whole lot in here as far as, search results or the display campaign, just because it's a sales motivated campaign, right? Because of the goal. As we go down, we got our location languages. I'm going to target the United States. Again, you can select your inventory, whether or not, it's limited or expanded based off of, really this is also really determined on your budget, right? If you have a really low budget, then you might do limited inventory. Just because it's going to be maybe a little bit less aggressive. Just depends on the content, depends on what you're selling, right? And I'm going to leave that for you to kind of figure that out. You can also exclude content, tragedy, sensitive, sexually in there. Excluded types of labels. This is going to go away probably pretty soon. Then we get down to the ad groups, right? So YouTube, market, upsell. Okay. Do all my demographics. Now, again, I can get hyper granular. Like if I want to get in here and I know that, like we reviewed the last time, right? Our 18 to 24s and 25 to 34s, they just don't convert for a particular product, right? And the Facebook one, we've actually, it's actually a little bit higher cost, or lower cost, like whatever we want to put it in there, but you might make some income analysis right in there. So all of a sudden our Facebook course, we're charging $25,000 for, right? But these things are all going to be things that you're going to weigh in here as you're creating your campaigns is the target demographic. And you may want to start off on something, because you can always add these in, right? These aren't going to affect your quality score. Leaving out demographics such as your age group, parental status, household income, stuff like that. If you add those back in versus taking them away, that doesn't have nearly as much of an impact as adding in like a broad keyword or a very broad audience. So these, you can always add them back in. Like say I only want to target the top 30 percentile rate people, right? And I know those age groups don't convert, so I'm just going to stay with that. And then you go into here, and same thing as within the other options. You can go to browse, go down to your remarketing audiences. You get the either combined list option, or you get the website visitors. Since we're trying to do the Facebook one, all right, we have to do the combined list, right? So we're going to do this collateral growth upsell Facebook course. And, we might put keywords in here, right? Might go to Facebook, advertising, Facebook courses, social media, advertising, stuff to that effect. And again, it's the same way as within the search campaign, right? It's going to combine those together. So it's going to be the Venn diagram where those overlap, right? So they have to be searching out videos on Facebook that are about this stuff and have seen my ad, right? So, it really depends on how much money you have to spend is what the honest answer is. Because again, if you have a pretty healthy budget, you're doing well within your ad agency or your company, then you might want to go a little bit broader and try and creep in everybody, but if you're trying to be a little bit tighter with lower volume, lower spend, but higher relevancy, then you want to start stacking these together, right? Where the only time that they're showing up is if they're searching for one of these on the YouTube network and they've been on our course. Okay, so you're going to tag those three circles together, right? We've got our demographic targeting, we've got our keyword targeting, and we've got our audience targeting. And it's only going to be that very center point where they all optimize or where they all intersect is where it's going to show up. You can also do some topics and placement targeting. I won't go too much into that because that's more what we cover in the accelerated version of the display portion. Then all you got to do is basically throw in your video. I'm just going to do a Gmail video. See that, right? We'll just throw a video in there as we're going to do. And you've got the ads that you can put in there. You got a final URL. Display URL can be the same thing where you can add, collateral growth, Facebook growth. All right. So, or enroll now, I think would be a good one, right? Load AdWord. Google course. Maybe want to grow. You just put in grow social. As you can see, there's a little bit more considerate, or I guess they have smaller character limits, right? You've got a call to action on here, which is going to appear over right here. And then your headline is going to appear right here. All right. So that's how they're going to show up. And on a desktop is where it actually is grow social, right? Now, the one thing that you're going to notice down here, you have a call to action overlay, right? I'll just put something in there. I don't have any in there actually right now. So where that's going to appear, this call to action overlay is going to appear right here. And you actually have the potential to target out here as well, right? So if you want to do some banners there, but again, we're going to cover that more in the Accelerator division. So if you haven't upgraded for that, I'm telling you, it's well worth it. We're going to really expand and make sure we rocket your conversions through the roof. And again, with the remarketing ads and how you structure out the campaigns and, just increasing your upsells and lifetime value of customers, this is how you do it, right? It's staying engaged. It's staying aware of how the market's changing and what's changing for them as well. And even different times of the year, right? They may bought a particular sunscreen, but now it's, the winter time and they need, better lotion for cracked hands, right? This is about having that audience and utilizing it for additional prospecting that can either assign complementary products, or you may turn them on to something completely different within your segment. But again, you'll be able to see all of this within your analytics and also be able to break down your audiences in order to make sure that you can really make an impact and increase the upsells while also increasing the lifetime value and loyalty for your customers. It'll always return more money in your pocket at a much cheaper rate. And the other thing is, if you make them happy, they're going to go out and tell the world, right? Word of mouth advertising is one of the most powerful things. And the way that you can really reinforce that is by remaining top of mind awareness and continuing to reinforce that value, allowing them to interact with your product, continuing to provide value, and also give them the opportunity to provide feedback and interact more with the company as a whole to really be part of the entire process. So I'll see you in the next lesson as we jump into the Accelerator division. Can't wait to get really into some of this high level stuff and start really accelerating your conversions.